Hi guys, Oliver here. Today I would like to talk about light. The reason is that one of the things that need improvement here in my tiny little makeshift studio is lighting. I simply don't have the space to put a large softbox up. It doesn't work, so I was starting comparing for light panels, LED light panels. One of my sources for that is Amazon. So one morning Amazon did what they do. They sent me a marketing email with what they call a lightning deal. I said, hey Oliver, we think you might like this offer of a 2-pack Neewer NL660 dimmable bicolor 660 LED light panel in red with light stands, power adapters, batteries, chargers, all in. And all of that for a good reduction in price. It's a lightning deal. So I'm still not sure whether the red color or the price reduction made me click that magic button saying I want it, but I did. And here it is. Neewer NL660 and two of them together with the light stands. They are spring loaded. It's pretty standard here. They actually, first impression is not too bad. They look sturdier than expected, because I only intend to use them indoors anyway, and the light I expected right in the center of gravity, so no funky overloads or anything. I guess they will do the job. On the packaging here it says product model NL660, LED number 660. It has a maximum illuminance of 3300 lux at 1 meter. Should be more than enough in here. Bicolor temperature 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin and a maximum power of 40 watt. Okay, let's open the box and see what's in it. Oh yeah, we have some padded transport case in it. So let's unpack that. Okay, here we go. Two handles secured with a Velcro strap and a double zip. Pretty easy to open. What do we have here? Oh my god. In order to minimize hazard, obviously, Neewer customer service. Some operating manual. On top of everything, the heart of it is our light. Now look at the color, red, isn't that beautiful? The barn doors are already attached. Okay, it has some sort of diffusion panel in it and the controls on the back side. Okay, we're gonna have a closer look later on. So now we have some sort of, what is it? Oh yeah, plastic housing here by the looks of it. I will never be able to get that back into the packaging. Let's get rid of it. Let's start with a main power adapter. We have a power cord. We have another power cord. And a third one. Wow. So I suppose, yes, here are the batteries. This is, I think, a Sony style battery. That's one of them. And a second one. And yep, these are one charger and a second charger. Okay. The transport box itself, okay, here on the sides there is a little bit of padding as well as at the bottom, but all in all it doesn't look too super robust. Here's a little pocket inside, but yeah, it looks good, and I think to get it from A to B that shouldn't be too bad at all. This is the content of the entire box. Light, 2 batteries, 2 chargers, power adapter, 3 power cables, 1 light stand and the transport box. Okay, now as we have unpacked everything, I set it up, and my first impression, it's very nice, neat and tidy. The LED panels come in a nicely machined aluminium housing, held together with screws here. Everything is nicely manufactured and it has a nice feel, nice touch to it as well. They come with the barn doors attached already, and the barn doors are held on a subframe. That subframe can be removed simply by taking off these four screws in the corner here. For the initial takeoff you may need a flathead screwdriver, but that shouldn't be an issue at all. There's also a diffusion panel attached already, which is held in place by two, plastic clips on either side. The tilting screw might be in the way and you may have to loosen it, then just unlock it, and from the inside you can remove the diffusion panel, which gives free view to the 660 LED beads inside. On the back we have connector for our power supply. We have two holders for the batteries, which are in that particular set included. There is a power switch. To the right side we will operate it on the power supply, to the left side we operate it on battery. And then we have two dimmer controls. The bottom one is for the white LEDs, or the white color, and the top one is for the yellow or amber LEDs. Okay, let's put the backside together. Power supply in. Switch to the right. See it on the back, yeah. First dimmable, only the white LEDs, and because it's bicolor, the amber or yellow LEDs as well, and of course you can mix them. Mentioned before, it comes with two batteries. It's a Sony type, and the ones coming with it are Neewer NL660. I'll put a link in the description. So let's put them in here. Power switch to the left, and they operate as well. The beauty of it, they will operate with only one battery. Let me take one out, and it still works. Another bonus for me with these batteries is I have these little Neewer LED lights here. They are called CN160, and normally I have to operate them with 6 of my Eneloop AA type batteries in the back. I have 2 of them, 12 batteries. It is a nightmare to charge. So the batteries are compatible. Just put it in the back and I'm ready to go. Now there is one glitch with the barn doors. I'll show you from the side. And the way they are mounted here with that U bracket, if we want to tilt it down like this, you see the barn doors are limiting the tilting position. So if you want to do tabletop photography, this is not ideal. But apparently Neewer was thinking of this. So what you can see here on top, this is the original position where the tilting screws were in. So when you remove them both, then as you can see you have a second position way lower, which raises the distance from the bottom of the U bracket to the underside of the light, and that then enables us to have a much larger tilting angle. So if you want to do some sort of tabletop photography where you need to light from above down, that works as well. Why are there two different controls on the backside? The reason for that is the way Neewer has designed these LED lamps. And we have two different types of LED beads. There are white ones and amber ones, and they are in alternating rows. We can control them both individually. The separate controls allow us only to bring in either the white LEDs or only the yellow LEDs, or we can both mix them up, and that way we can also control the color temperature. And in my tests so far, that works really well. The more expensive models have a little LCD screen in it where you can actually set up the color temperature. It is especially helpful when you have two lights and you want to adjust or match the color temperature. But as I said during my tests, it wasn't an issue for me, so I am quite happy with that. Now let's have a look at the actual light characteristics. The distance from the light to the wall is roughly about 90 centimeters, almost 1 meter. Now let's see what happens when I slowly begin to dim the white lights in. Yeah, and you can also already see it has quite a spot characteristics with a bright spot at the center, and it's falling off quite rapidly towards the corners, towards the edges. Adding a bit of yellow, bringing the yellows to the max, bring in the whites to the max, and here it's quite obvious, a very bright spot in the center, and it's falling off towards the corners. Quick idea what happens: only the yellow LED beads at full power, turn them off, and now only the white ones at full power, adding the yellows, both on, the whites out and the yellows out. Now another thing, don't be mistaken, the barn doors do actually not direct the light, but by closing them in you can actually flag the light off. So that means, so now a bit of the sides, you can see it, you can prevent the light from going onto places, into directions where you actually don't want them. Okay, I was talking a lot about the benefits of having them LED panels equipped with batteries, but how beneficial are they actually? What better test than performing a simple runtime test? Therefore, I'm going to put them both up, put both batteries in, and then we're letting one run at 100% and the other one at 50%, and we're stopping the time. Let's see how far we can get. Just started the stopwatch. And all I have to do now is find some activity where I can wait until the batteries are running out. I think that will do. Well, the result was actually a positive surprise for me. So after about 2 hours and 54 minutes, the one at 100% simply turned off. There was no sign of the light going down or dim it down. About 15 to 20 minutes earlier, I had a feeling that there was a little flicker which fixed itself then. So there wasn't really a sign. 2 hours, 50 minutes, almost 3 hours. That was pretty good. The second one, which was running on 50% only, I switched it off after 5 hours runtime because I really was tired and had to go to bed. So overall, the batteries, the runtime is quite excellent. Okay, and finally, let's talk about the quality of light. Well, one way of describing it is the so-called CRI rating. CRI stands for Color Rendering Index, and it pretty much describes the accuracy of a light source in reproduction of colors. Well, bottom line, everything from 95 onwards is a pretty good CRI rating, and these newer light panels, according to the manufacturer, have a CRI index of 96 plus. So the expectations are quite high. And finally, you want to see how does the light actually look on a person. Because I don't have a model around here, I have to do it on myself, and let's start with different light setups and see what we can achieve in my small office here, because that was basically the entire idea behind me purchasing these newer light panels. Okay, start with setup 1. We have only one of these light panels in place here as a main light. Only the white LEDs are in, and just because the color temperature, yeah, I want to have it in a more natural and not in a warmed up tone. So only the white LEDs are on, we're almost on full power. Now the first issue that becomes obvious is that a light panel produces a rather hard light. The reason is simple. We have a rather small light source, about 23 by 20 centimeters large. So the only way to get it softened would be using some sort of light modifier, diffusion panel, a softbox pretty much, or something like that. But we don't want to do that. We want to achieve a nice light with only the light panels and without anything else. So here I am, rather harsh shadows. You can see it here on the right side of my face. Now let's carry on to step 2. Okay, and that is the first modification. So what I did, I left the main light source unchanged, but I did add in a roughly about 45-degree angle a second Neewer panel, and this one acts as my fill light. And it's again just the white LED beads and running about 35 to 40%. So what happens, the harsher shadows on the right hand side of my face are now filled in. Everything is a little bit softened, and that alone gives the illusion that the entire light scene would be a little bit more softer. It actually isn't. The light is still as hard, but just by arranging two different light sources I managed to fill it out a little. But we can improve that a little bit more. And this is modification number 2. What I did, you remember, I have these small ones too, where I just put a battery in. And this one is now here behind me, again in roughly about a 45-degree angle, and shining some light here on my head, on my shoulder, giving a little bit of an accent or accentuation here on my shoulder, and it's used as a rim light, or, well, hair light. I mean, in my case, a hair light. Okay, let's not talk about that. However, what we now did is a classical 3-point lighting setup, and I think for what I want to do here in my studio, this, with maybe minor tweaks over time, will become my main light setup for producing my videos. Yes, and because I'm happy, now let's do a little resume. Overall, I think I got myself a bargain here. Let's start with the packaging. What did I get? I have 2 LED panels, 2 light stands, 4 batteries, 4 chargers, 2 power adapters, and the entire package for just above £200 is pretty good. Bearing in mind that I got it on that lightning deal I mentioned earlier, I am very, very pleased with the result. And it does exactly what I got it for. So the lighting here in my little cramped studio has, I personally think, massively improved. And therefore, yes, I am very happy. They look sturdy, versatile. Even the light stands are pretty stable. That does the job. I cannot say much about long-term experience yet, because I just have them for a few days. But time will show. And we're at the end for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I also hope you got the information you were looking for. You know the ending drill. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon here on my channel.